Tornadoes. Spiraling funnels of storms and doom for anything that lingers in its path, even if it's only for a moment too long. Even though they're quite common, mostly to those in the continental United States and a bit of Canada, they're still shrouded in mystery and despair regardless of how often they appear in other parts of the world. Ancient civilizations saw them as gods, spirits, and even demons, all because of the monstrous strength that they have. The way that they grow into a spiraling funnel of destruction is quick, spanning from the heavens to the earth, leaving anything in its path to be destroyed if it can't move quickly enough. The first known tornado in our modern knowledge occurred in Sardinia and Corsica of the Roman Empire. This catastrophe happened in the year 200, marking many years of undocumented tornadoes that had occurred all around the world. There isn't much information on it due to the fact that it's possibly the earliest we'll ever be aware of, but it's still an important mention due to it being the earliest twister in our modern history. Even before we knew about this tornado, though, there were many stories written about them and how they came to be. These texts were typically rooted in much more religious grounding. An example would be written of in Hesiod's Theogony, a book coming out roughly 900 years before we would have had any of the modern sightings and documentation of today's tornadoes. The poem itself is a collection of tales about each of the Greek gods, with the part being referred to here specifically being the battle between Zeus and Typhon. Typhon is described as being behind these windstorms and sending them out to wreak havoc in the surrounding areas. Some translations also directly mention tornadoes as well, suggesting that they have been seen and written about much longer than we actually know. These depictions show the first instance of fear that people had had towards these storms, as well as the wreckage that they bring to anything around them. And although the majority of people don't believe in these gods anymore, tornadoes are something that are undeniably real, and we should still worry about their impact and what they can truly do, even though you may think that we're much more prepared for these windy monstrosities. On average, tornadoes are only around for about a few minutes. This might seem like a short amount of time, but with something as destructive and catastrophic as a high-speed storm, that could mean life or death for anything in the surrounding areas, no matter how structurally sound it might seem. There's also the opportunity of more long-winded and strong tornadoes coming through, with some lasting hours or coming in clusters, otherwise known as a tornado outbreak, which can do much more damage than just a single one, even if it only lasts a couple minutes like it normally does. It might not sound too bad at a glance since we're able to detect tornadoes for the most part now, but knowing how many are in an outbreak, how long it might be until the twisters are gone, or how much destruction might be caused is nearly impossible, even with modern technology. These calculations might be able to be estimated, but there's always room for error due to the fact that what's considered good data can really only be traced back to the 1950s. Also the fact that tornadoes vary a lot each year, which changes things around and makes it even harder to truly know what will happen when one is detected. There's also the fact that if you don't live in a country like the United States or Canada, your country's tornadoes might not even be detected or reported since they aren't as much of an issue in other parts of the world. Examples would be places like Mongolia and Bhutan, both of which are not known for tornadoes and don't have many, so they do not have any way to really detect or alert people of them since there seems to be no necessary reason to. Despite there seeming to be no reason to protect themselves from these tornadoes though, these countries have still been hit by major ones, whether it was a couple times or only just once. This shows us that even though it might not happen normally, it's still completely possible for there to be one that wreaks complete havoc somewhere, regardless of what it might seem like. This makes it impossible for the government to warn people in adequate time to leave the area until it's already caused a lot of destruction, putting anyone in the area in danger that can't be avoided until it's pretty much too late. So if you're outside of the US, you'll most likely not be able to even know about a tornado until it's already in the area or far in. In the United States, though, it might not even be as safe there for knowing when a storm might strike. With the Department of Defense's removal from giving away satellite data to US meteorologists, the already hard task of detecting dangerous natural disasters will become much harder, especially in the realm of hurricane detection, because this data is crucial for knowing what might happen during the storm and knowing its path. Now, even if you might not be afraid of tornadoes, hurricanes are a much larger issue that can affect anyone living near the oceans. They're much more deadly and destructive, and on average, take thousands of lives every single year. Although America isn't the #1 place for hurricanes, they definitely do still get a lot, especially in and around Florida. The removal of satellite detection will put a lot of lives in danger, as it helped tell meteorologists things like when the storm would intensify, the direction it might go, when it will hit land, and all of those good things that tell people when they need to evacuate by so that they can be safe. When we look at all these things together, it's clear to see that some storms like tornadoes and hurricanes are too unpredictable in the strength of them and the trajectory that they might go. And while we shouldn't necessarily be deathly afraid, natural disasters are one of the most major killers along the whole world. With how things are changing, as well as climate change in general, they'll probably become much worse for anyone who happens to be in the path of a future storm. It's important to be prepared and know about what's happening, because soon we might go back to not being able to detect much, if anything, about the natural disasters that will happen.